Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to this live stream. I thought I'd just do a quick one. It is 10 p.m. in the UK, Thursday, the 21st. How are you all doing? Praise the Lord. Jesus is coming. The rapture is on the very doorstep. I'll just give it a couple of minutes for some people to join. Sisters. Okay, well, we don't want to hear myself. And why don't you tell me where you're all from? William Lane from Ohio, Lee Bayless from Pershaw, Chris from New Jersey, Nicholas from Lincolnshire, Helene Gartner, is that from Waiting for Jesus to Rapture Us? Aren't we all? Donna Jones. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do is just go over the prophecy that we're all watching to see if it is going to be fulfilled on Saturday, which is the Shoshani prophecy. So let's just read it again. There will come on the day that two ministers win the government in the land of Israel. Both their names will be Benjamin, and neither of them will succeed in establishing their government or kingship. On that day, which is, there will come on the day that two ministers win the government. So that's referring to that day. So there's the mention of day in the first sentence. On that day, when two ministers win the government, on that day, know and understand that the King Messiah already stands at the doorway. And on the Sabbath afterwards, he will come and be revealed. Shoshani's statement continues, understand this and remember it. Okay, so I want to go through the astronomy of this coming weekend because it is very interesting. And I also just want to go through a couple of headlines. So let's do the headlines first, and then I'll do the astronomy. I thought this was very interesting. They're saying that so many people have been bitten by snakes over the last couple of months since March. Apparently, twice as many people have been bitten by snakes in Israel. It says that it indicates there has been a significant increase in snake bites in Israel, with 44 Israelis bitten by snakes from the beginning of March. Wow, that's quite a few. Last year there were only 23, and there was also a snake which was found in a Talmud Torah, which they are saying is like a miracle. There's this venomous snake, which, as you can see there, it's a 5 foot, quite a scary looking. It looks like a viper, and that was found in a Talmud Torah. And obviously, we know about Moses and the brazen serpent, lifting up the brazen serpent in the wilderness when Israel were murmuring against the Lord, and God told Moses to lift the brazen serpent up, and that's only explained by Jesus, that he would be like that brazen serpent lifted in the wilderness. Also, I'm not sure if you'll be aware, but there is a huge controversy about a channel on Israeli news or Israeli, media, where they are going to be broadcasting this missionary channel or this Christian channel in Hebrew, and there's huge outrage about this in Israel, that they don't want this God channel to be broadcast in Hebrew because, of course, they hate Christians proselytizing the Jews. So there's been a lot of talk against Jesus in Israel recently over the last couple of months, and that's been all over the Israeli news media, that they have been speaking against these people coming to try and convert the Christians. So I thought it was very interesting that there's lots of snake bites which are happening in Israel at the moment, and that was, of course, one of the things which happened in the wilderness. Okay, then COVID-19 returns. This is quite a big thing. The second wave is what they're all talking about now, and I just want to show you guys this information about the second wave, which I've got on Facebook here. I posted this. You might not be aware, but in 1918, in the Spanish flu, they have the behavior of the virus which happened in 1918. And as you can see, here's the first wave, and then there's this massive second wave, and this was globally. So this is New York, London, Berlin, Paris. This is the global behavior of the virus. So you can see the second wave is the big one. That's the big one. But of course, they won't tell you that on the mainstream media, and they won't tell you that on the news, that this is what happened before. This is the precedent. I mean, if you're going to open up things and you're going to let people go back to restaurants and these kinds of things, then they should at least be told, look, this is what's happened in the past, and make them aware that we have a precedent with the last virus, the last serious pandemic which occurred 100 years ago. The Bible says that which was done before will be done again. There's nothing new under the sun. Look, we've been given an example here. So there's your first wave, which is what we've just had, and then there's this massive second wave, and this is all over. I mean, if you do research on the internet, you can find these graphs all over the place. This was death per 1,000 persons, pandemic waves 1918 to 1919. So as you can see, there's the first wave, then there's this massive second wave, and then there's a third wave. And here, this is from Wales. In the counties, exactly the same thing in Wales itself. First wave, then second wave, and then the third wave. And here's another one, death rates per 1,000 population. This is in England and London. First wave, massive second wave, and then the third wave. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of that, about the pandemic which occurred, the Spanish flu, and the behavior of that. So when they shall say peace and safety, we're sitting right around here now. So the pandemic's now gone down, and now this thing is now showing up and saying COVID-19 returns and maybe mutating in northeastern China. As the Chinese Communist Party began its annual Congress Thursday, known as the Two Sessions, authorities sealed off 3 northeastern cities in 2 provinces in a lockdown aimed at containing a new breakout of what may be a mutated form of the COVID-19. Okay, so these things tend to mutate, and then they come back with a vengeance on the second wave. The same thing here. China puts the city of Shulan under Wuhan-style lockdown after fresh COVID-19 cases. And New York Times, after new coronavirus breaks out, China imposes Wuhan-style lockdown. So the second wave is very possible if it's going to work as the Spanish flu did, and the example that was given to us 100 years ago on the button right there. So be aware of that. And then Russia said pushing mini summit to mend ties between US and Palestinians. You see, the European Union and Russia and the EU are now getting involved because Israel are about to annex their lands, and they are now trying to influence the annexations and try to stop it. and it's not sure if Israel will get an invite, so they may even be left out of this. But everyone wants to divide God's land. Everyone wants to have a piece of the action, and all the leaders of the world are drunk with lust on touching God's land. God says, that's my land. Do not divide the land of Israel. So Russia's getting involved here, which I thought was pretty interesting. It says all nations shall come against Jerusalem. So I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. It could be that they have this meeting and Israel annexes anyway, and they do it regardless of the Trump peace plan, and that would obviously make America very angry. But who knows how this is going to work? But nevertheless, everyone wants to divide God's land right now. Okay, that's the same one. And then nations rising against nations. Chinese military calls Pompeo's Taiwan message very dangerous. Nation rising against nation. You'll notice that as Israel starts to increase the tension and the pressure with its own enemies, Iran yesterday, the Ayatollah Khomeini made a statement about the Holocaust and the final solution, threatening Israel with destruction, and Israel have responded. Netanyahu said, you will be destroyed yourself. Those who say those things are destruction and the danger of destruction themselves. So the tension is rising. Hezbollah in Lebanon and also Hezbollah in Syria, which are preparing to go to war with Israel. That is what their objective is. So as tensions rise with Israel, there will be tensions that rise in the world. And we can see that happening now with the Chinese military. And the Chinese response to what Donald Trump is saying and his rhetoric about the virus coming from China, it's a storm that's brewing. So we can see nation rising up against nation. Okay, and then 2 Michigan dams breached. I'm sure most of you guys will know about this. Michigan, the word Michigan means Great Lake. It's the largest freshwater lake in the United States of America, which is completely surrounded by the US borders. So I know that there are bigger lakes which share the border with Canada, but Michigan is the largest US lake, freshwater lake, which is completely contained within the United States. So this is water breaking, travail upon a woman. This is quite significant that this is happening right now, and tens of thousands of people are told to evacuate. So the day of the Lord is coming. Dividing God's land is not to be taken lightly. Do not divide the land of Israel. This is what's happening. It's not a coincidence. This is happening because of what is happening in Israel. And so wow, incredible destruction which has happened because of this. About 11,000 people in central Michigan were told to evacuate their homes after rapidly rising water overwhelms dams, creating what the National Weather Service called a life-threatening situation. And they're saying that I read that this is going to be something like 9 feet of water, which is absolutely incredible. All right, Russia, the UN, and the Vatican condemn unilateral Israeli annexation plan. So interesting that the so-called Holy See is now getting involved. That's Rome getting involved and saying that they object to what Israel is doing. Israeli annexation of parts of the West Bank continued to gain momentum Wednesday as representatives of the UN, Russia, and the Vatican all expressed strong objections to the plan that could be implemented as early as July. So even the Vatican is getting involved. And only Hungary and Austria are standing up for Israel, and the rest of the EU is blasting Israel. And it's all about Israel, guys. It's all about who that land belongs to. Are people going to abide by the everlasting land covenant that God made with Abraham, or are they going to think that they can slice and dice the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's land? Okay, so the astronomy of this weekend, let's just do that. So we are coming up to a new moon, which is in Taurus, and that is tomorrow. So Shoshani says, the Shoshani prophecy says the Sabbath after that, when the day will come when two Benjamins will win the government, the Sabbath after that. So this is what I'm looking at. And this is the new moon. So now we are coming up to the third month, which is happening in Israel. So if we have a look here, we can see that the third month is Shivan, and that is going to be on. So if we say after sunset, that would be after sunset on Saturday Israel time. Okay, so that is on the 24th of May. Remember the 24 elders in the throne room of heaven. So that's quite interesting. 24th of May is the first of Shivan, and the first of Shivan is the third month. Now remember, in where is it? In Exodus 19, it says, in the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. So Exodus 19:1 tells us that's when they came into the wilderness of Sinai, on the third month. That would have been on the first day of the third month. And then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. And that's when God makes this covenant with them, and that is in the third month. So we are coming up to the third month, which is the month of Shivan, and that is going to be this weekend. So that will be Saturday the 24th, will be the first of Shivan, but that will be when the new moon is first seen. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the just quickly before that, if we go to the 23rd, that is, so it's from the 29th of ER to the 1st of Shivan. So we're talking about the 23rd to the 24th of May, and that is the 44th day of the Omer, which is according to what the Jews count, and that 44 obviously means door. So I think that's quite interesting. Okay, so let's have a look at the astronomy as far as where everything is on that day. And here you can see this is what it is going to look like over this weekend. So we're coming up to a new moon here, and the new moon happens to be in Taurus. So the new moon will be in a different month, the new moon will be in a different constellation each month. And this month it is in Taurus, and as you will know, that is where Venus was in the Pleiades just a little while ago. And here is Venus and Mercury sitting right at the horn of Taurus. So the new moon is here. I'll zoom in on that so you can see that's why it's a new moon. Obviously, that it's because it is in alignment with the sun, so we can't see it. And that is where the new moon is this Sabbath. So this is the Shabbat that's coming. That there's the new moon, which is in Taurus, and the sun is also in Taurus, and Venus and Mercury are also in Taurus. So if we have a look at the new moon, I'm going to click on this. The new moon is falling on the 22nd of May, which is tomorrow. Okay, so the new moon, as far as visibly seeing the moon, is obviously not when the moon is in direct alignment with the sun, because you can't see the moon at all. It takes a couple of days, it takes 1 or 2 days for you to see the first waxing crescent of the moon. So as far as the new moon is concerned, if you want to get technical, the actual new moon is in Taurus, and that is going to be tomorrow evening around about 8 p.m. So the new moon in Taurus is 8 p.m. tomorrow Israel time, and there you can see it is right directly in alignment with the sun. So it is very interesting where the moon is. Of course, Taurus is judgment. It's conflict. It's the ox, the bull, and it is the representation of the piercing of the judgment. And in Psalm 22, verses, I think it's 21 or 22, it says, "Save me from the lion's mouth, from between the horns of the," King James Version says the unicorns, but it's the reme, or the ox, or the bull. Save me from there. Okay, so that's a perfect picture of what we can see right here. We've got the sun and the moon and Venus and Mercury all in Taurus. So all eyes for this weekend. And we shall see if the Shoshani prophecy is going to come to pass. We're going to find out very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. And here we can see, if we go further across, we can see Jupiter and Saturn are coming very close to one another, and this, when they actually come together, that will be in December. If I go to December, on the solstice, that's actually when they come together, the 20th of December, and this only happens once every 20 years. Once every 20 years this happens, and this conjunction has happened this will be the number 101 since Christ was born, or the great major conjunction, which happened in 7 BC, which was 3 years before Christ was born. There have been 101 of these conjunctions, and this will be the 101st. So this, I think, I don't think that the rapture will happen after this conjunction. I think this is the closing of something. But yeah, I mean, we'll obviously focus on this weekend, and hopefully the catching away will happen very, very soon. So I just wanted to share that with you, just a quick one. And yeah, we will see, and hopefully this will be my last video, because I will see you in the sky.